the young people, their attitude, and how they look at life, how they behave toward each other. And believe it or not, it's very heartbreaking. Because not a single person, when you go to public places and you see everyone waiting for the train, for example, everyone will be glued to their phone, like with their heads bowed like this. They won't talk to each other. This is what we call an indifferent generation. We have built before us a generation that will not care about another, even if something is going on horribly in front of you. It is a very dangerous time that is being built right now for us. So what we're talking about right now, with all the conditioning from gamings, from all the films that you have watched, from the Fantastic Four, all this human-enhanced technology that we have watched, all the subliminal messaging from all the television screens that you have watched before, have culminated to this single time where people now have accepted happily the artificial intelligence. And now you are okay talking to robots, right? You're okay asking ChatGPT for everything. And there are some who even in Japan, they even marry their AI boyfriend. Yeah, I'm not kidding. We actually have a video of it. The invasion. That's why I told you, we have been invaded by artificial intelligence. And whether you like it or not, it's in your head, it's in your home, of course it's in your pocket. You sleep with it under your pillow, especially young people, and you can't live without it. You see, artificial intelligence, there are two sides to it. Because it's amoral. It's not bad in itself, but when you look at it this way, it's like having a knife. You can use it to cut the meat and cook something, but you can use it to kill someone. You see, it's in your hand, right? For example, for us, because we travel, we are missionaries, so we go every 3 months to Asia and all these countries. But we have a business here in the UK. We have a nursing agency to run. But believe it or not, the whole running of the agency runs through this phone. Everywhere I go around the world, I can run the agency from here. That's good, right? But it can also be a tool to take over your life. For example, if you watch yourself being 6 hours on the gadget, and instead of you doing a lot of productive activity, you just spend all your life for that moment scrolling on that screen without thinking. So it's taking over you. It's controlling you instead of you controlling it. For example, the addiction that young people, especially teenage girls, are having when they use social media in posting, and they will want validation, and they will want people to thumbs up or heart what they post, like they want their crush to notice them and all this, this kind of activities is manipulating your mind into thinking that your identity comes from the screen. But it's not, isn't it? Because the moment you come back to reality, all those are erased because it's not the real reality for you. So you start to talk to your friends, then you realize, it's not really how they were online, for example. Or you have someone that you liked on the screen because they look so gorgeous, and then when you see them, you don't even want to, you can't recognize them because it's all the filters on when they pose. You see, there's a lot of manipulation going on. So when you saw the video before we end earlier, it was all this artificial intelligence, generative art. They have a generative AI now which can create exactly your look-alike, for example, and you won't tell whether it's you or not, or whether who is real. Is this you real? Or is this the artificial intelligence created face? There is no more telling the difference. So it means that we come to that place where deception is very, very strong because you won't tell which one is real. So for example, you are scrolling on your phone and all this flash comes, and because you keep scrolling, you wouldn't know for all those shorts that you watch which one is real and which one is not real. So the reason why all this news comes to us, or if they are telling something real, they will mix it with all this misinformation. The word misinformation, they use it to really attack the truth, to kind of mix our brain to make you confused, so that when even if they are flashing all this truth or something real is flashing on your shorts on the screen, your brain cannot distinguish if it's real. Why? Because you have been fed all these unreal things, all these copycats, all these shorts that are AI generated. So your brain can no longer tell. So what's happening is a crisis of truth. That's why the Vanishing Truth. In the latest installment of the film Mission Impossible, I don't know if you watch it, I watch it. That's where I got the title of this part 3 of my seminar, is the Vanishing Truth. Because Tom Cruise talks about the vanishing truth in the film, where this entity is about to take over the whole infrastructure of the world, and his main tool to do it is to vanish the truth. So the vanishing truth, it's like a time when nobody can tell what is real, and we are in it. We are in it. If you look at all your social media feeds, and the blurring of this line between what is real and not is closing down. So when they mix, where would you go? So at the end of our session, we will talk about how you will navigate this coming deception. Because what if there's no more truth out there? You will never know the truth. What will you do? How will you navigate it? How will you anchor yourself so you don't drift away into this sea of deception? You can't tell anymore. There's no more line that divides them. This is a very, very dangerous time for us, especially for young people, because they are already living in the virtual reality that they created. So as children or as young people, this is an important time for you to set yourself aside, or to make a stand, to not be part of that crowd, because you will drift away if you are part of this crowd. And we're not talking about 10 years from now. We're talking about this time we are in it. So that's why it's very important to actually understand what is happening. So when we talk about digital prison, we discuss about how this is an inverted prison, where you need to prove yourself before you can enter any website or anything, really. And for that matter, if you remember during COVID, before you enter a supermarket, you have to have the green check, whether you're vaccinated or not, or whatever it entails. You have to pass that screen, and if it's the QR code green tick, you can go in. So that's inverted prison. So we have been living halfway in this kind of prison, where we are all having to prove ourselves not guilty or not doing anything wrong before you are allowed access to the economic system. You see? So this is now being built around us. And to answer your question, yes, there is no going back to it. We are just slowly being, how do I say it, ushered into this kind of government. But the good news for you and for me is that we have read the Bible. We know it's there. And we know that it's not supposed to make you afraid, because there is hope for you. But the majority of people, there wouldn't be any hope. Can you imagine this world where everybody's afraid? It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be pleasant for us. It will be a very difficult world to live in. It's a society we are heading into that is built upon the infrastructure of this technology we call artificial intelligence. And this is not new, because I told you that China is already doing it. They are the test ground for these societal change. There is a shift that's happening for us. And if you can see how they are slowly introducing it in our every walks of life, like the digital ID being introduced here, and how we are centralizing all the system in the NHS. So we are looking at a future that is controlled, because technology is not compatible with democracy. I just want to be honest with you. No matter how I did the mathematical calculation on this, because you can do a mathematical calculation for everything. If you look at how artificial intelligence works, there is no way democracy will work with it. And so we have no trajectory except that it will be a totalitarian government for us. There is no way it will be democracy. The reason being is this artificial intelligence has the capability of control, and it is absolute. It is absolute because, like you said, even just going to the toilet, using this one thing with your number on it, it's gonna be monitoring you. It's a surveillance society, and it only happens in a communist country, in a dictatorial kind of society. So when we look at what's being built right now before us, we are being ushered into this society where I believe, for me, I believe if you are a Christian, you have hope that maybe you don't have to be ushered into it completely, because the Bible promises a promise to us, to believers, for all those who have given their life to Jesus, that we are not destined for this wrath that's about to come to the world. The ones that we are looking at it now, the world is being conditioned and prepared for the coming of the wrath of God, which is going to be ugly, as in you don't want to see it ugly. That's gonna be very, very hard time that Jesus said it will not happen again because it's so hard. It's just like so terrible. That's why they call it tribulation period. It's like just the hardest ever, that he said that you wouldn't wish to have a baby on this time. So when Jesus said that in Matthew chapter 24, if you want to look at it, he talks about a time where, there will be no death. There will be people wanting to die because it's so hard, but death will flee from them. So imagine that kind of scenario. And then he said that all these things that we are seeing, like the birth pangs, they say before it happens, that we see like the war, the famines, or the earthquakes, or the natural disasters we're seeing is like a preview, a prelude to it. He said that the generation that will see all these things happening, that generation will not pass away before all these things come to pass. So let me talk about that a little bit, because it means that we have to look at a certain generation to see whether we are going to see the end game here. So when Jesus said that, he was talking to the people about the fig tree and the sign of the fig tree. So in Israel, I don't know if you've been there, when we've been there, there is a particular thing about this fig tree that you can notice because of the way they have their shoots. So when they start to bud, there's no stopping it, because it will be telling you something is coming for them, for the season. And Jesus explained about this budding of the fig tree. What does he mean? He meant about a certain generation. He said that when you see all these things happening, like the budding of the fig tree, and then all these things that he said are coming, it means that that generation, a single group of people living at a single time in history, will never pass away until everything has happened. So let me tell you it this way. In 1948, Israel was born as a nation after the Holocaust. If you remember that. I don't know if you can remember far back, but in history, that's 1948. That was the beginning of the end. Because when you look at the end times, it's not just end time end. It's very big end. And then at every point in history, 18th, 17th century, it's also end times, but it's not like as close as we are. Like where we are now, we are end times. They were end times then. But they were at the far end of the end times, but we are in the very brink. Why? Because of Israel, 1948. So we are looking at the generation here of the people born 1948. 1948 and roundabout, plus or minus, around that time. Look at whoever you know born around that time. And that person's lifetime is one generation. So you only have to watch that generation. For example, my father, born in 1945, so plus or minus, he's still alive right now. We're looking at 82. So it means that I am watching him, and maybe his generation will not pass away. He can live up to 100, so we still have 18 years. Until all these things come to pass. That's what that verse meant. It's a single generation that sees everything all at once. What do you think of our generation? We are seeing it all at once. Every single sign, including the advancement and the increasing of knowledge, is here before us. because you are multiplying the knowledge that you have on your gadget, on the phone. Every time you want to know something, it's there. And it will be multiplied because another person, 8 billion people will be asking, and there will be multiplication and multiplication of this knowledge. And at your fingertips, all of the knowledge that belongs to scientists from the past up to now belongs to you now. If you want to know it, you can be a doctor. All the knowledge that the doctor knows, it's all there. You can ask. It's on your fingertips. All the culmination of knowledge that has gone from past to now, it's all there. Multiplication of knowledge. And Daniel 12:4 says, this time, prophecy is being known to you because it's the time of the end when knowledge shall be increased. Multiplication. Yeah, I know, I've seen this. Yes. You know what? Whatever can be used, we want to use. Like Paul said, they preach Jesus Christ from wrong motive. It's okay. As long as Christ is preached, let's preach Christ. Because all we can do right now, I mean, for me, I believe my life's purpose is just to warn people, is to get the gospel out there as much as I can, because that's the only chance we have. I mean, what else is there for me to do? I mean, if I look at my life, in looking back, I will be going back so many years, but I would tell you that the greatest ambition is not to be the most successful businessman or to get all this degree or to be successful in so many levels that we have been dreaming of. When I was younger, I was dreaming all these. And in fact, I have seen it. I have experienced having lots of money. I have experienced success. I've been there. People know me. And the reason why I'm telling you this now is, after all that, I know that it doesn't mean anything. That the greatest ambition is still for me is to serve Jesus, is to get the gospel out there, is to make a difference to other people. And it's still the best ambition for me. And if I will go back and live again, it's the same thing that I will want to do with my life. And so if you are just starting your journey and you want to choose what you're going to do with your short life, I mean, what is the noblest of all ambition? What is it if you gain this whole world? In fact, in trying to gain the whole world, you could have lost your own soul because you drift away. So, for me, at the end of it, when I'm sleeping at night and I'm thinking about my life, it's still this most important question that I want to ask myself. Is what have I given this life for? What am I living for? So you have to ask that, because your life is not going to be forever here. So there's always that fine line where you drift away and you just go with the flow. But at the end of your life, you have to look back and you have to count it. You have to look back and ask yourself, did you waste it? What have you done with your life? So you have that chance now. So I think for me, whatever you can do shorts about gospel. Yes, do everything you can to try to warn people, because who knows whether we only have a year or two? We don't know that, right? So that's what we want to think about. So artificial intelligence, now we are talking about the very reason behind why Trump wants to invade Greenland. I'm telling you this story. The very reason why Elon Musk went to Gaza and the cohorts, this group of Board of Peace, who wants to turn every war-torn area into their hub of something, they're not telling us everything. Artificial intelligence is the very reason why they went to Venezuela. Of course, you won't read it. Do you know how much energy is artificial intelligence using? You won't believe it. That's why, actually, it's not us who's going to ruin the planet. Artificial intelligence last year used all the bottled water in the whole world for the whole year to power their back end, to process all your researches, to process all your questions, or the search that you put on that Google. You think it's just magically being processed? It is somewhere in a data center, and it's being processed there using a lot of energy that the world can ever produce. Not enough. And it's using a lot of water that you won't believe how much every year.
Why did you just say this, boss?
This is all the nuclear power, this is all the solar, this is all kinds of energy. So if you have watched Matrix, there is some truth into what happened to the people in that film, because we become a source of battery in that film, the Matrix. They plug everybody into this make-believe reality in the film, and then everybody, every human being becomes a source of energy there, because there was not enough energy. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because they are trying to do it with 6G. When 6G comes, they will want to try to see if they can get some energy from every human, because it's not enough what's on in the world, in their projection. They had this meeting already last year with Trump, and all these technology guys are there, and the main thing that they have asked President Trump was power. This would be the race for them. Because artificial intelligence has to be powered. It is in the data center somewhere, and they're gonna need a lot bigger than that to complete the government system that they want to build through artificial intelligence. So if we look at how fast artificial intelligence compared to you, this is it. 800 times faster. 800,000 times faster than human thinking. 800 faster. So what I want to tell you is, your human brain cannot compete with artificial intelligence. Because they have all the data from all over the world, from all the minds of everybody against your mind. So that is artificial intelligence capability. So this is a continuous processing of you being studied. So like, for example, your phone is taking a picture of you and studying your reactions, your minute and very tiny reactions, pupil movements, all the facial movements. It's studying it, taking picture every 3 seconds. You see? You see how it's studying us? You know why? Because it's needed for artificial general intelligence, AGI. This will come after this AI that we have now. So if you look at the development of artificial intelligence, we have ChatGPT 3. After 6 months, you have ChatGPT 4. After 3 months, you have ChatGPT 5. That's how quick it is. Now they don't even tell you what kind of AI we have now. But we have the AI powered by quantum. So the artificial intelligence that we are using right now is using quantum computing. And this is why they can answer simultaneously every question around the world and give you answer all at the same time. Because quantum computing has no limit. Do you know what quantum is? Anyone? Anyone has any idea about quantum here? In quantum mechanics, if you study quantum physics, they have this distinguishing feature where they have this entanglement, they call it, because obviously they cannot process what we are doing now on the computer if they use the binary system of the normal computer. You know why? It's only 0-1 in the binary system. But quantum computing bypass this system because they have entanglement, they have superposition. Do you know what it means? Quantum, in a simple term, I will tell you how they do the entanglement and superposition is, for a binary with 0-1 capability, it's limited to what it can process because it has to stick to that 0-1 coding system. With quantum, they bypass it because there's an entanglement. They can still address the one before it, or the one after it can be included in the processing, which means that the past, the present, and the future intersect. It means that there is no limit to coding. There's no limit to processing because they have superposition. What happened in the past can enter into the present. What happened in the future can entangle in your present. And you know what it meant spiritually? This is a spiritual realm. And that's why this technology is not from us. This is why it's very dangerous. You know, when I say to you that God actually dwells in the quantum realm, maybe we will tell I'm heretic, right? Maybe what is she talking about? I'm giving you a new teaching. No. Let me explain to you what quantum is. Do you know that we are made of atom? We are matter, right? Matter made of atom. We are limited to time and space, right? I cannot go straight to this wall because I'm made of matter. I'm limited. I have time. I have space to deal with. And then I'm made of this tiny little particle called atom, the whole of me. And in fact, the whole of you is also found in the universe, made of atom. That's how God made us. You know, it started from this. So when you look at quantum, I want to tell you a biblical example. When Jesus rose from the dead, what did he do first? Every time he came to show himself to the disciples, did he go through the door? He just magically go through the walls because he is already in quantum existence, spiritual dimension. Why? He's not governed by time and space. If I'm in this body with my physical dimensions still governing me, I cannot pass through this wall because I'm a matter. But when I enter this dimension where Jesus demonstrated when he rose from the dead, he passed through the wall. And not only that, there were these two friends walking on the road to Emmaus, and he just suddenly joined them. He's not bound by time. He's demonstrating quantum realities there. He's not bound by time, so he just joined them out of nowhere. Yeah, like that. Because it's possible in quantum computing. Everything is possible in quantum computing because it is not in this world's dimension. And it is very dangerous. And I will tell you how they discover it in an even more dangerous story. But quantum computing is the realm of the spiritual. It's beyond this world. It's impossible to get this into this world without danger. But something is happening. There was a shift because we are in the very end of end times. Jesus also said that this knowledge will increase. It includes his spiritual knowledge that we are able to understand now what is happening in this realm. Because if you look at how Jesus operated, he walked on the water. He defied the dimension we are in. Remember he walked on the water? That was quantum. Quantum defies the law of physics in terms of matter, atom. So you don't deal with space, you don't deal with time. You're beyond it. That's why he was able to walk on the water, because he lives in that dimension. He went through the wall. He just transported himself to where he needed to be. Even in the book of Acts, we have quantum. When the Holy Spirit brought Philip to this Ethiopian eunuch, the ride he just took him. That's quantum. That's entanglement, that's superposition. When you study quantum physics and quantum mechanics, that's what he explained. But the first thing the professor will tell you of quantum mechanics is, the main thing you need to understand about quantum physics is that no one can understand it. And yes, you can never understand it. Why? It's beyond us. This is not from this dimension. So if you look at the history of quantum, when they introduced it, very early on in the 2000, earliest 2010, around that time, they were studying how to get the binary system beyond what it can do, because they already have this AI in their mind. So what they were trying to achieve at the time was, we have the news about it in Geneva, Switzerland, when they were doing research there in, they call it CERN, which is a scientific research facility for very intelligent scientists. And what they want to do is to discover the origin of life, to kind of be like God somehow, to find how everything is created. So in order to do that, they have to catch atom. Of course, you have to catch atom to find out the origin of everything, because atom is where we came from. This is us. We are made of atoms, right? All of you is made of atom, all of me. So what they have done, to catch atom, they have to catch the speed of light. You see the speed of light? You cannot catch it. 186,000 miles per second. That's pretty fast, right? So, how do you catch it? Remember God said He is light? God is light? Who dare to catch light? I mean, God is light. He said He compared Himself to light. So literally, we are looking at this invisible God who cannot be attained. You can't match. That's why He is God, right? But these very intelligent scientists thought they could. They tried. 99.9% in fact, they catch a bit of this atom, put it in a canister, try to break it, and then we have the news, the theory of everything, and we have the news of dark matter coming into our feeds, news feeds. Then we have to deal with all these scientific explanation of where we came from, because they obviously tried to do that. But there were a few scientists who came out of that experiment who have said that they have encountered an entity during that underground exploration, because they had to do it underground. It's a collider that they built to break the atom. Hadron Collider. But the problem that we have now is we already have it. So whatever is that entity that has brought this technology to us, it's not human. And the only way I can explain it to you is because there is no way that this is human, because this belongs to another dimension. But we have it. Google is using it. Facebook is using it. Technology that are now being built for us to be able to live under a surveillance society with one digital ID for each citizen of the world is going to be built through this system of quantum AI. So, now the question is, what do we do about what's going on now? Because I told you we cannot really prevent the advancement of this technology. Next year, they will introduce to you 6G, which is being used already in Qatar, in Singapore, China, of course. 6G is Internet of Bodies. We have 5G, we have Internet of Things, where your sound system talks to your mobile phone, or your washing machine talks to your TV, all your gadgets talk to each other. That's Internet of Things, IoT. That's 5G. But when 6G comes, it's Internet of Bodies. And what they are trying to introduce to you and me is that you no longer have to type your text, but you can think it in your mind, and then you're gonna send the text through your mind. Do you get it? You know the latest installment of this update? If you are updating your phone, so this is iPhone, right? So it always update. It always gives you update every few weeks or months. And the latest one that I noticed was, it looks like a glass popping out of my screen. Like it's so slick, so like floating. It's a conditioning for you and me. Because one day, it will be so high-tech that it's gonna be like transparent. Like we don't need this, but it's gonna be like here. Like when you watch sci-fi movies, they are all real. They are going to happen. Because nothing is impossible with quantum. Yeah, it's gonna happen. And the thing with 6G, Internet of Bodies, they have to put it inside your skin. Yes, like I told you, if you want to know what they will do next, you just watch Marvel movies. I think the Ant-Man has some truth about quantum over there. They kind of introduce a little bit about quantum if you watch the Ant-Man. James Bond, they always have one. So you can watch James Bond and then it will tell you about the things they will want to do. It will introduce, in a subtle way, of course. You have to have a big discernment to watch it. So artificial intelligence, so we've discussed the quantum in the Bible. You have seen how quantum is actually what is going on when Jesus was here. And then quantum understanding, which is what is being used with artificial intelligence right now. I don't know if we can go back to, not that one, the impact of and danger of artificial intelligence. I want to just show you a little bit of study, I think. Let's go to that study. Okay, I think the problem is we haven't really heed that advice. That was way back a few years ago, and we haven't listened to it. We have gone past it because now, at the moment after that interview, they were discussing about putting a mother instinct into the artificial intelligence, where on the robots that they're making, so that like if you're a mother, you would think of the safety of your siblings, right? So for example, if humanity will be in danger with what's happening, they can still have that protective, instinct for humanity, but they have dismissed it. They haven't put anything of safety measures in order to arrest artificial intelligence if it's talking by itself. Like if it's artificial general intelligence, after the AI is AGI, right? AGI is exactly like your human brain. And this is very dangerous because it will be capable of thinking like you. In fact, they have their own website now, the AI agents. They have developed this website where you as a human is not allowed to enter. You can just observe them, but they talk to each other in that website. Can control everything. I mean, it's inevitable that we will go to that time, but it needs AGI to do it. So AGI is the ultimate for AI. It means it is now, so with AI, it's like this. For now, what we have, so for example, do you use ChatGPT? You search, and then it tells you if it's AI mode. For example, just the main Google, you type, and then it tells you thinking. It tricks you to think, to believe that AI is thinking, but it's tricking you because it's not thinking. It's impossible for artificial intelligence to think because they only operate through pattern recognition. They will not know the relationship between two information. For example, if you and I are thinking, we understand the relationship of one information from another information. So we are capable of analyzing and critically analyzing what we read. For AI, they cannot think that way because they only look through patterns, pattern recognition, and then their answers based on all the collective data that they have on the data center, and they just regurgitate it to you. They are still not thinking. But with artificial general intelligence, it will be a whole brain. It will be a proper human-like artificial intelligence capable of making independent decision. And this is the dead end of all the dead end for us. Because there will be no stopping them if robots make their own robots. If robots plan something for our future, can you trust these machines? But at the moment, we are being conditioned to trust these machines. How many of you, instead of thinking about an answer, just type Google for an answer? How many of you, instead of calculating something, some numbers in your head, you just use your calculator? How many of you, instead of beating your brain to think about something, you just have to ask AI or get AI to chat or ChatGPT to do your assignment instead of researching? You are outsourcing. All these are very vital to you, but you are outsourcing it. You are giving power to this machine to one day take over you. That's what's happening. Do you know what? We'll entertain question later. We'll just look at the brain rot. What is happening? There will be a lot of unemployment. This is what we're gonna be expecting. Global unemployment is happening. The government system will be completely controlled. You have to have the digital ID. And the role of the artificial intelligence in the coming control is going to be everything. They will run the whole system. And then if we look at the study I'm talking about, what's happening to you whenever you outsource to ChatGPT or search for answers from ChatGPT or scroll endlessly on your phone. This is what's happening to you. It's a study from Oxford in 2024, and they call this word brain rot. It means that your brain is no longer capable of thinking. You are outsourcing your thoughts. You don't think because you think Google will give you the answer. You become lazy until your brain shrinks. That's why even the Bible I will never put in my phone. I will read from the book. I read manually. I have loads of books and I force myself to read. I have a highlighter and I will highlight it, and because I don't want my brain to shrink. I don't want brain rot. Look at what's happening to you. Zombie scrolling, doom scrolling, gaming overload, notification addiction. It's all happening to every single one of us. The human brain was not designed for endless digital stimulation. So when you no longer have this and you're eating on the table at home and you're not engaged in your online reality, your brain don't like it anymore. It's becoming depressed. It's becoming disappointed because it's not used to it. You want constant stimulation now. So these are the results of all these. And I think I want to show you something very important. You know that thing?
TED.
TED Talk. It's very important, young people. I want you to listen to it. For adults, well, you look at it and say, oh no, I lost it all. But for young people, I want you to listen very carefully and decide for your life. And then we'll talk about what to do. Isn't that eye-opening? I mean, when the first time I saw that, it's like, whoa, I only have what? Did you see how much more left? How much more young people? I mean, look at that. 26 years of scrolling on that internet. I mean, you don't want to waste your time. It's so short, our life. And the reason why you're here is because you don't want to waste your time. And so let's go deep into how to navigate this time that you have. Because we are living in a very distracted generation. So let's look at 3 ways on how you can prepare for what is coming. In light of everything we have done, we have studied, I want you to remember these 3 things because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it because this is all that's waiting for you when that day comes, because you won't know the truth if you don't know this. So the first thing, because we will be living in a complete deception time, you have to know the truth. To anchor your life in truth. So John chapter 14, verse 6 is your go-to verse. And I want you to memorize it. This is a verse that you're gonna need in the coming months and years. Because you will know how to tell where the truth is. So you have to know the absolute ultimate truth, isn't it? Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So who is the truth that we have? Jesus. The truth is a person. And so that means you will never drift away if He is holding your life. You've got to make a conscious decision. Because while you are still young, you are about to drift away into this sea of confusion and distraction and deception. You wouldn't know what's out there and how much of a power this deception is. When you are just on your phone, you don't know it's shaping your mind. So you need to be anchored. You need to have someone to hold on to. When everything is not true, you need to run to the truth. That's why Jesus' word here, I am the truth, is very important. I mean, to me personally, when I was watching how Jesus was about to be crucified, and there was a man, very intelligent man named Pontius Pilate. He was looking at Jesus face to face. This was a man who's very intelligent and successful. He was the last person who talked to Jesus. He was face to face with the truth and he missed it. Remember that. He was face to face with Jesus, who said, I am the truth. But he said, before Jesus left, he said, what is the truth? You see how terrible that is? To be face to face right now, tonight, listening to this, knowing that Jesus is the truth, face to face, and yet you will miss it. You miss it. I mean, this is so terrible. This is just terrible if it happens to you, to be face to face with something to hold on to, the truth that you need, and still ask, what is the truth? We need to know the truth. And this is personal. I can't believe for you. Your mom can never believe for you. Your dad, your friends, they won't believe for you. They can't. It's only you and God. And so you have to make a decision to know this truth, to tell Jesus, I want to know this truth, to believe, to tell him how you feel, how you think, because Jesus hates hypocrisy. You know, he knows you anyway. Why will you pretend? So what I'm telling is, you can be true before God to tell him how you feel at night when you're all alone and thinking. That's when God comes to you. He talks to you at night. That's why every single person in the world have this same exact experience. Everyone. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Trump, you name all the most powerful people in the world, and then the poorest person, the homeless one on the street. Every single one of us has one thing in common, and that is at night, when everything is silent, when all the noise are gone, you're all alone, you're thinking, and your soul starts to speak. That's when God comes to you. That's a very important time. When you decide about your soul, when you think about, do I know God? Is God in me? Do I know this God? Is there a meaning to this life? That's the time that you want to protect. It's the time when Satan always wants to steal from you, because that's the time when you will think, when God comes and steer your conscience. So I always leave people who listen to me about this thought, because I can tell you, or I can force you, or I can tell you, you raise your hand, receive Jesus, no. But the truth is, it's between you and God, and it has to come from somewhere real, from your heart. No one in this room can do it for you, ever. Even if you come to this church for 10 years, it doesn't mean you know Jesus. Knowing Jesus is a personal experience, and it is supernatural. It's not something that your dad tells you you have done. You know when you know that you have met Jesus. I know, and I won't forget the time when I met him, because it was real. Because at 12 years old, I knew. That is something that you can never deny, because it's a supernatural experience that you would have. So that is something to hold on to for you. And that is the source of your life, your fire, your purpose in life comes from there. And if that is waving, you will be drifting away everywhere in your life. And before you know it, you spend all your life. Remember, how many more months will be left? And then number 2, watch out that you are not deceived. You have to be discerning. You don't believe everything you see on the phone. You have to stop and learn to think. Is this true? What does it say? What will the Bible say about this? You start reading your Bible. Because if you don't know the Bible, you will be deceived. How many times do you read the Bible? Do you just hear about God when you come to the church? Does the pastor have to force you to have a time with God when you open the Bible and ask God to show you himself? Because God is real. He's the most real thing in this world. But if you are just here content that you are imagining God, you're missing the point. You're like Pontius Pilate, who was face to face with Jesus and still asked, what is the truth? Do you want to be in that place? You're here for 20 years of your life and still ask, what is the truth? You come face to face with the truth every Sunday, or every time you open your Bible. It's free, and you have the chance after chance after chance. Don't let your life ask that question that Pontius Pilate asked at the end of your life, because it could be too late. When you have the chance, grab it. Anchor your life in the truth. You have the Bible, read it, search it, because God promised you, if you search him with all your heart, you will find him. That's a promise. If you search him with all your heart, you will find him. So let's watch this video now. And let's contemplate on the quantum God that we talk about, how he made everything, and how we connect it to who we are. And we will close in prayer after the second video. The reason why we watch this video was because I want you to go home with this thought of how big God is. I mean, when I was starting mission work, I don't know how to introduce the Jesus that I learned in Bible school to these tribes, to the people who would never see a church or a Bible. And I thought to myself, how can I even introduce what I know about this God to these people who wouldn't have any chance to be in a civilization that I know? But they have no excuse, because God said in Romans chapter 1 that He can be known in all of the things that He created. So if you are neglecting to even be with nature or to observe all of God's creation, you are missing half of the revelation that God wants to show you about Himself. There are so much. I watch closely, tiny insects, ants, spiders, how they form their webs. It's just, for me, God thought of me. He thought of you after all the creation that He's done. And we're talking about the grandeur of all these. I mean, the sun that you see smiling at you in the morning, do you know how big it is? You can fit 1 million Earth in the sun. 1 million Earth. You see how big God is? And we are looking at this planet, the third in the solar system called Earth, where we are now here. We are hanging upon nothing, suspended in the air. And there was a picture that NASA has given to us in the 1990s, and it was a picture of the Earth like a sun, like this, very, very small, and it is suspended in a sunbeam. And it's so tiny, like a tiny mote of dust suspended in that air. And you and I live in that tiny, tiny, tiny little world. And what I want to tell you is this: God is indescribably big, and yet He thought of you. And He came to our dimension. He don't have to, but He died the death that you and I deserve. He died to pay for your sins and for my sins. When He came to our dimension, it's like coming into this tiny box where no matter how He shouts to tell you, I love you, I know your name, I have a plan for you, I have a good future for you, we cannot hear Him. That's why He had to be in the form of us. He became like human. Jesus came. He came from that dimension, like a quantum one, so that He can be limited by time and space in this physical dimension, just for you to know that you can build your own identity in Him, that He came to tell you, I know your name, and I have a plan for you, and that you don't have to get your identity and value in all this nonsense computer screen somewhere, but because you know me and I know you, and I gave you this value, I came to die for you. And that's where your value is. Young people, that's where you get your identity. That's who you are. Not what friends tell you, not what your enemy tell you online, but your friends can tell what they want, but as long as you know who you are in Jesus, you are secure. You should be the most confident teenager, young people that ever lived on earth. Because you know this God who loved you without condition. You don't have to be beautiful, you don't have to be intelligent, you don't have to be good. He just loved you because He chose to love you.